Hi guys, so today we're going to be looking at my top 10 Christmas movies. So without further ado, let's take a look. Number 10, Jingle All The Way. Jingle All The Way is a 1996 Christmas family comedy directed by Brian Levant and written by Randy Cornfield, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Phil Hartman, Rita Wilson, Robert Conrad, Jake Lloyd and Jim Belushi. Howard Langston, Schwarzenegger, has promised his young son a Turbo Man action figure for Christmas, but he's completely clueless to the fact that it's the hottest toy on the market. This in turn starts a desperate quest that pits him against a stressed out mailman, a sleazy Santa impersonator, and every other parent in town. Now, is this film the best? No, not really. Is Arnie good at comedy? Definitely not. But is the film fun? Yes. This is a turn your brain off, ridiculous popcorn movie. And if it's one thing we need these days, it's some fun. Number 9, The Nightmare Before Christmas. The Nightmare Before Christmas is a 1993 stop-motion animated musical, directed by Henry Selick and produced and conceived by Tim Burton. Danny Elfman wrote the songs and score and also provided the singing voice of Jack. Principal voice cast includes Chris Sarandon, Catherine O'Hara, William Hickey, Ken Page, Paul Reubens, Glenn Shadys and Ed Ivory. Jack Skellington, the king of Halloween Town, is bored with the same annual routines and wants something new, and while wandering in the woods one day he stumbles across a doorway to Christmas Town, falls in love with Christmas, and now he wants to take over. Did you know this story originally came from a poem written by Tim Burton in 1982 while he was working as an animator at Disney? Because I didn't. That's right guys, I said Disney. Do you remember when they did good movies? Now I'm a big fan of Tim Burton, but not a fan of musicals normally. However, this gets a pass as it's such a fresh idea and an interesting concept. This is where Burton shines. Two things that shouldn't work together do. A very fun, artistic animation. Number 8, Scrooged. Scrooged is a 1988 Christmas fantasy comedy directed by Richard Donner and written by Mitch Glazer and Michael O'Donoghue, based on the 1843 novella A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, starring Bill Murray and Karen Allen. Scrooged is a modern retelling of A Christmas Carol and follows the character Frank Cross, a selfish and cynical television executive with a major chip on his shoulder. As the story unfolds, Frank is visited by a number of ghosts on Christmas Eve, hell-bent on helping him regain his Christmas spirit. Did you know that this film brought Bill Murray back to acting after a 4-year break following Ghostbusters, and that it was filmed on a budget of $32 million and made $100.3 million at the box office? This film is a good example of how you do a modern retelling of an older story. Are you taking notes, Hollywood? Let's be honest, Bill Murray is what makes this film. His comedic timing is perfect, and if I'm honest, wouldn't have worked out without him. Number 7, Trading Places. Trading Places is a 1983 Christmas comedy film directed by John Landis and written by Timothy Harris, Herschel Weingrod, and loosely based off Mark Twain's The Prince and the Pauper, starring Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Lee Curtis and many, many more. What happens when a down and out con artist swaps places with a well-to-do investor? Mixing two wealthy power players, getting the wheels turning with a crazy bet, and what do you get? You get a modern take on The Prince and the Pauper, And man, is it funny. They're not just getting rich, they're getting even. What a film, starring two of my favourite comedians. And let's not forget Jamie Lee Curtis's fantastic rack. You knew that was going to get a mention, right guys? Did you know this film was made on a $15 million budget and made $120.6 million at the box office? And that the Dukes reprised their roles for Eddie Murphy's film Coming to America. Number 6. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is a 1989 Christmas comedy directed by Jeremiah S. Chechik and written by John Hughes, starring Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo and Randy Quaid. Clark Griswold intends to have a great old-fashioned Christmas with the whole family. But let's be honest, this is a Griswold family, and we know nothing goes according to plan. What's in store for Clark this time? I do love a Chevy Chase film. He doesn't even have to say anything, he's just got one of them faces, it's just funny to look at. Like all National Lampoon films, it's ridiculously over the top. But hey, it's funny. And a late 80s classic. This film cost $25 million to make and made $73.3 million at the box office. I would say it did okay. Number 5. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Home Alone 2 is a 1992 Christmas comedy directed by Chris Columbus and written and produced by John Hughes, starring Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd, Tim Curry, Brenda Fricker and Catherine O'Hara. Can lightning strike twice? Well, kind of. Only this time Kevin isn't left home alone this time. He gets on the wrong plane and instead of going to Miami, he ends up in New York. If that's not bad enough, the wet bandits have escaped and are roaming New York too. What kind of trouble will Kevin get into this time? And will his family track him down? Now don't get me wrong, this isn't as good as the original. And yes, it's even more far-fetched than the first film. But it's fun. And you can't help but wonder what crazy traps Kevin has in store for the wet bandits this time round. I remember watching this film on a dodgy pirate we bought in Gravesend Market with my mate Nicky. Those were the days. Number 4. Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon is a 1987 buddy cop action comedy film, directed and co-produced by Richard Donner, written by Shane Black and co-produced by Joel Silver, starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover and Gary Busey. Mel Gibson is an LA cop, Martin Riggs, reckless, relentless and lethal. His Vietnam training and Sub-Zero Flashpoint are a volatile combination for a man with such chilling credentials. Recently widowed, Riggs is a time bomb waiting to go off. The only question being, who's he taking with him? Danny Glover is Roger Murtaugh, an older cop approaching retirement who now gets saddled with the unstable Riggs as his new partner. Will this partnership crash and burn, or will they complement each other by becoming a very effective crime-fighting duo? Now I remember being around 10 years old and my mum's friend's daughter was babysitting me and my younger brother and she put this on. I remember the grey VHS case. Wasn't really giving much away, just two guys on the front with handcuffs around them. All I know was it was clearly a film about cops. That was all I could tell from the case. But what a film. I was glued to this film from beginning to end. A great mixture of drama, comedy and action. Now I know there'll be people saying this isn't a Christmas movie, and all I'll say is, sorry, you're wrong. This film starts with Christmas music. It's set at Christmas, and take the gunfight in the Christmas tree lot, or Gary Busey shouting at the TV, "Today's Christmas," before shooting it. Amazing to think this film's nearly 40 years old now, but man, it's still awesome. Number 3, Gremlins. Gremlins is a 1984 comedy horror film directed by Joe Dante and written by Chris Columbus, starring Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates, with Howie Mandel providing the voice of Gizmo. Sure, he's cute, of course you can keep him. But heed these 3 rules. Number 1, don't ever get him wet. Number 2, keep him away from bright light, sunshine will kill him. And the most important rule of all, number 3, the one you must never forget. No matter how much he cries, no matter how much he begs, never, ever feed him after midnight. With these mysterious instructions, young Billy Peltzer takes possession of his cuddly new pet. He gets a whole lot more than he bargained for. Now I'm waiting for it. It's not a Christmas movie. And once again I'll say sorry, you're wrong again. The film starts with Christmas music. Gizmo is a present and even wears a Christmas hat in the film. Gremlin hiding in the Christmas tree. You know, when he tries to kill his mum. Creepy story about Kate's dad dying at Christmas. Need I say any more? I remember my sister renting this for me and my brother from the local video shop. We loved it because it was such a great mixture of comedy and horror. This one made an impression on me that lasts even today. I even own a NECA Gremlin that the wife bought me for a Christmas a few years ago. Did you notice subtle nods to the executive producer Steven Spielberg in this? For example, the Rockin' Ricky billboard is a dead ringer of Indiana Jones. And when Stripe's hiding in the store, at the end he's hiding behind an E.T. cuddly toy. This is a favourite of mine and I watch it every Christmas without fail. Number 2, Die Hard. Die Hard is a 1988 action film that originated from Roderick Thorpe's 1979 novel Nothing Lasts Forever, directed by John McTiernan and written by Jeb Stewart and Eddie E. D'Souza, starring Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman. High above the city of LA, a team of terrorists has seized the building, taken hostages and declared war. But one man has escaped detection, an off-duty cop. He's alone, outgunned, and the only chance anyone has. I remember my friend Nicky buying this from Woolworths and us going back to his house to watch it while eating a large hot and spicy pizza. Good times. I suppose what got me really invested was when Alan Rickman shoots a guy in the head and you see the blood splatter up the glass. That was when I realised, okay, this film isn't messing about. Now before you say it, it's set at Christmas and I don't care what anyone says, it's a Christmas movie. And I'll watch it every Christmas without fail. Number 1, Home Alone. Home Alone is a 1990 Christmas comedy directed by Chris Columbus and written and produced by John Hughes, starring Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd and Catherine O'Hara. When 8-year-old Kevin McAllister is accidentally left at home alone, when his family go on holiday to France, he has to grow up quick. But he's smart and quickly finds his own way of getting through his setback. That is until he has 2 strangers trying to get into his home. Now these criminals think they've run into a minor setback when they realise he's home alone. But little do they know that Kevin is not only smart but mischievous. And with that, they have no idea what they're walking into. So I remember me and my brother buying this in Gravesend Woolworths and laughing our heads off watching it. Even my mum was in stitches. Little did I know there would be more memories made when I met my wife and I had my kids. Those memories being in the form of a tradition. Every year we watch this film as a family without fail. And that's why this is my number 1. Well, this is my top 10 Christmas movies. Why not let me know your top 10 in the comments below? And until next time, take care, stay safe, and before I say it, Merry Christmas guys. Nerdy Geezer out.